Namaskar. Today we will study psoriasis. Psoriasis is a chronic inflammatory disorder of skin. Genetic predisposition as well as environmental factors are the etiology of psoriasis. Up to 70% of patients has a family history of psoriasis, and environmental factors like microbial infection, for example streptococcus infection, and mostly the upper respiratory tract infection or pharyngitis caused by streptococcus. Then drugs like lithium, beta blockers, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, tetracyclines, certain anti-malarial drugs. Then alcohol, smoking, emotional stress. These are the factors. If a genetically predisposed individual comes in contact with these factors, then he or she develops the immune responses. What will happen? There will be inappropriate activation of the keratinocytes, hyperkeratosis, there will be increased epidermal turnover. Normal epidermal turnover is 40 days, and in this case it will be around 7 days, because of which there will be scaly skins, so thick scaly skin will be there. Then there will be activation of the inflammatory pathways which leads to inflammation of dermis and epidermis, and the cytokines such as tumor necrosis factor alpha, interleukin 23, interleukin 17, they are the mediators of this inflammation. Then there is also superficial capillaries proliferation which leads to erythematous plaques. So thick scaly skin, erythematous plaques and inflammation are the characteristic features of psoriasis. Accordingly, we can have drugs which can decrease this epidermal turnover, then anti-inflammatory by specifically acting on these cytokines. So before going to the drugs, let us first see what are the different types of or forms of psoriasis. The most common form of psoriasis is plaque psoriasis, and 85 to 90% of patients suffer from plaque psoriasis. And there is again silvery white scales, so scaling is there, and mostly affects the trunk, elbow, knee, scalp, finger, toenail, etc. And it can occur at any age. It can develop at any age. The second one is the gotted psoriasis, which occurs in children and young adults, and mostly this occurs after the streptococcal infection. Within 10 to 14 days this occurs, and it is a little bit different from plaque psoriasis. So there will be scaling of the silvery white scales over the skin will be there in plaque psoriasis, whereas here these scaly plaques are very small, smaller than 1 centimeter, and this gotted psoriasis is widespread throughout the body. And sometimes this gotted psoriasis is the starting point, and it then develops into psoriasis vulgaris or plaque psoriasis. Then we have pustular psoriasis, which is the rare form, and this is the unstable form, and there will be small pustules all over the body, and these pustules develop towards the edge of the patches, so the silvery white patches, and at the edges there will be pustules, and most often they are associated with fever and general malaise. In addition to them, there can be psoriatic arthritis, which develops in 5% of all psoriasis patients, and these patients are rheumatoid factor negative, or we can say seronegative, and there will be arthritis, which will precede the skin lesions. Then the fifth one is flexular or inverse psoriasis, and this occurs in the flexular areas like your axilla, under the breast, all the skin folds, around the groins, cleft between the buttocks, and around the genitals. All these flexular regions they occur, and we call it inverse psoriasis because there is no thick scales are seen in case of plaque psoriasis or any scales like your psoriasis, gutted psoriasis. Usually these are pink, the place is pink and irritated. So this is the difference between this flexular and or inverse psoriasis and other forms of psoriasis. Besides that, there can be erythrodermic or exfoliative psoriasis, in which the psoriasis is associated with conditions like eczema, T-cell lymphoma, etc. Then psoriasis affecting psoriatic nail disease, and then we can have palmoplantar psoriasis affecting palm, sole, etc. Palm, sole, etc. Then treatment, and the treatment of psoriasis can be done in three ways: topical, systemic, and phototherapy. And topically, we can have the preparations like creams, ointments, gels, or even solutions. And we use drugs like emollients. Emollients are the moisturizers to hydrate the skin, remove the scale, and prevent fissuring. Then we can use corticosteroids like triamcinolone, hydrocortisone, betamethasone, mometasone, and these are all showing anti-inflammatory properties. Because of anti-inflammatory property, we can use them topically. Then we can have vitamin D analogs like calcipotriol. This inhibits the keratinocyte differentiation and production. Then we can have 1 to 10% coal tar, and this is used topically because of its anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, antipruritic, antimitotic action. Then we can have diethranol, which is a synthetic anthracene derivative, and they can be used topically because of their anti-proliferative and anti-inflammatory action. Then we can have salicylic acid, again because of its keratolytic action, we can use it topically. Then the phototherapy, mostly the phototherapy can have immunosuppressive action, and this is photo means here UV light, and UV light we know 200 to 400 nanometer range is called UV light, the 200 to 400 nanometer wavelength. So out of this, the 320 to 400 is called UVA. Then 290 to 320 is called UVB, and the rest here is UVC. And we can use UVB light, or we can use UVA with SORA lens called PUVA. So UVB 290 to 320 nanometer, and we can use the whole means 290 to 320 nanometer, we call it broadband, or we can use narrow band 311 to 313 nanometer only within this range. The broadband has the advantage of more safety and decreased risk of burning, so there will be more safety. And if we use the narrow band UVB, then we can get rapid control. That is the advantage with narrow band. Then Soralens followed by UV light, that is called PUVA. So UV light here is the long wavelength UV light, that is 320 to 400 nanometer. And Soralens, these Soralens like 8-methoxysoralen, 5-methoxysoralen, they can be used orally or topically. And when we use orally, 2 hours before exposure to UVA light, we can do it. If you want the whole body to be exposed with UVA light, then we can use orally. And if we want some specific sites like hands or feet, in that case we can apply locally the Soralens topically, and then we can expose that part with UVA light. So these Soralens, they interfere the DNA synthesis, and hence they reduce the epidermal turnover, and in this way they have immunosuppressive action, and we can use them in treatment of psoriasis. Then if the topical therapy and phototherapy are not sufficient, then we can go for systemic therapy, and this is done on the basis of two indices. One is PASI, Psoriasis Area Severity Index, and the other is DLQI, Dermatology Quality of Life Index. And the PASI range is from 0 to 72, and DLQI range varies from 0 to 30. And for both these indices, if the score is more than 10, we call it as severe disease, and in that case, that means we have to give the systemic therapy because the topical or the phototherapy is not sufficient. So you can see here, initially we can use emollients, vitamin D, steroids, tar. If it is mild one, then if it is a little bit more, we can use the phototherapy, UVB, and PUVA in addition to diethranol and coal tar also. So coal tar and diethranol can be used in combination with phototherapy. So phototherapy alone can be used, or in combination with this can be used. If they are not enough, then we can use systemic therapy with methotrexate, cyclosporine, all these immunosuppressants. Then methotrexate is the cytotoxic agent, again immunosuppressant. Cyclosporine is the immunosuppressant. Acitretin, this is the vitamin A derivative retinoids. Then hydroxyurea and fumaric acid esters, they can be used. And even if they are not enough, then we can use monoclonal antibodies against the cytokines like tumor necrosis factor alpha, interleukins, all these monoclonal antibodies targeting those cytokines can be used. So first, all these drugs, methotrexate, systemic therapy includes this methotrexate, which is a folate antagonist and inhibit the DNA synthesis. So this is cytotoxic agent, and this is gold standard first line drug for psoriasis. And this can be used orally or subcutaneously, and the dose is 15 to 25 milligram. Then the cyclosporine, which is the calcineurin inhibitor, which inhibits the activation of lymphocytes, they inhibit the production of interleukin 2, and this can be used in all types of psoriasis. Then the retinoids like acitretin, tazarotene, they can be used. They inhibit the epidermal proliferation. So they have keratolytic action, they have anti-inflammatory action. So they can be used particularly against chronic plaque psoriasis and pustular psoriasis. Then we can also use hydroxyurea or hydroxycarbamide, which inhibits the DNA synthesis. Again, this is cytotoxic immunosuppressant, but this has the disadvantage that it is teratogenic. Then the fumaric acid esters, they target both keratinocyte and T cell activity, and they can be used in plaque psoriasis. And if all these drugs are not enough, then we can use the monoclonal antibodies, and monoclonal antibodies like TNF alpha antagonist like adalimumab, infliximab, etanercept, interleukin 12 or interleukin 23 antagonists like ustekinumab, interleukin 17 antagonists like secukinumab. So all these monoclonal antibodies can target the cytokines like tumor necrosis factor alpha, interleukin 23, interleukin 17, and can be effective against psoriasis. That's all about treatment of psoriasis. Thank you.